Well, it's 10 o'clock here in the Rocky Mountains, and we're going to get started with this YMCA youth volleyball using the new USAV Sport Kit and the ideas to help you grow the game. Notice that you have a chat button and a question button. And open up your chat button and send messages, and I can answer them in real time. I'm not a really big fan of the raise your hand thing, so I don't see that as much. But my name's John Kessel. I'm here with Leslie Harms, who is working with us at USA Volleyball on the Youth Project Sport Kit. And you know, we are where Olympic and Paralympic journeys begin, especially through the YMCAs and our regions. So without further ado, let's see if we can get the, now that our regions, we have 40, and on the sport kit, every page will link to the regions if you want to ever, get in touch to join the membership. And they are the local on-the-ground experts to help you do volleyball, so please take advantage of them as we share this kit and the ideas that we're doing in USA Volleyball to grow youth volleyball. Why are we doing this? Well, for big three reasons. Our board says that we're supposed to keep winning medals. A lot of you may not realize, but from 1968 to 1984, we weren't in the Olympics. There's 220 countries, as you see, that are part of the sport, and only 12 get to go to the Olympics. Brazil and the U.S. are the only two teams that have made it to every Olympics since '84, and we'd like to continue that, but it's not easy to get into the Olympics. Growing the game through the Ys and what you're going to be doing in little kid volleyball, making it be more successful through your Ys is the second really important part, including our 40 regions. And when it says 32 AOs, that's what a YMCA is. USOC calls you member sports organizations. We call them affiliated organizations. And when we say commercialize the sport, again, it's to get more fans, more sponsors, more things going on, not necessarily make money per se. So that's one of the things that hopefully you see why we're here today. Okay. So we're going to talk about the art of coaching youth volleyball, not just the science, but we're really big on the science too. And the impact of coaches is a quote that is a poster that you can download from our website, as well as a great video, and we highly recommend you share it, possibly for all your Y staff, not just for anybody doing volleyball. We're here to share the secrets of USA Volleyball. As Thomas Jefferson said, if you get an idea from us, you don't lessen ours. And so that's why we're here. And feel free to share ideas and questions throughout this as we go forward on things that have been working for you as well. So we're here to change traditions. Most Ys just put the holes in the floor. You're going to see an idea that's pretty important to drill a eye bolt in on the wall, but the tradition there is to put the eye bolt in at net height, and we don't want that. We want it to be put in really high and low, and you'll see why. But the Amish know how to set up a court. It just takes some buggies and a net and a ball, and you can play. And you can also play in any YMCA pool. As we share this information, note that it's just info, and if it ever feels like criticism, that's my bad. We're not here to do that. So here's the real big #1 request to your Ys. Will you please put in an eye bolt in up high, and then another one down on the ground, and tie ropes. And now this system is on the side baskets or on the end line baskets. Most Ys have 6 hoops up, and put up the net or the 2 nets. We want you to put up to 8 nets, as you're going to see as we move forward. But it requires this eye bolt and rope system. It is so important because once you do these 4 to 6 to 8 net systems that you're going to see, that are very low cost, and we're going to be giving each of the attendees one of the net systems in the sport kit for being here. Once you see that kind of stuff, hopefully the audio is not gone, Sky. We're just checking in there. But once you see the net system set up this way, you can also do, and we'll send you an email with these net height adjustments, badminton, sitting volleyball, table tennis, tennis itself, all with the same system. So hopefully all you're doing is into the eye bolt, you're drilling a eye bolt in at about 11 or 12 feet, or even anchoring it to the basket crank if it's there, then putting another one down on the ground, and then doing the trucker knot to tighten it. Now, there's a video on this as well that we're not going to be able to do video on this, but there is a video on this to show you how to do that. We're going to talk about principles, and this is my favorite quote. Every clinic I do, I think about this or I speak about it. The first part is about what we want to help kids understand, the value of effort. Without ambition, you don't start anything. Without the hard work, you don't finish it. You got to win the prize. The man who knows how will always have a job. The man who also knows why will be his boss. So we really want our players to not be told to do it, but we want our kids to figure things out on themselves by playing. And finally, there may be a million or so methods, but principles are few. And we're here to talk about those methods less and more about the principles. So the number one principle in volleyball is that you play over a net. Your serve goes over it and your spikes go over it, and you read through it, and yet most kids put up a net and then ignore the net and practice in front of it for a long time. So you're going to see now how important the net is, and the ideas of USA Volleyball through the Sport Development Department to help you get more nets up. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Simple and clear purpose and principles give rise to complex, intelligent behaviors. Get a lot of complex rules and regulations gives rise to simple and stupid behaviors. And so we like to keep it simple, and kids really like it too when you keep that simple for them. Just a fact that I'd like all you listening here today to understand, that there are 425,000 girls playing high school volleyball. It's the #3 sport behind track and field and basketball with athletes. And there's roughly 15,000 scholarships available. And some of them go to some of the 220 countries of our international federation with kids coming in, but the vast majority clearly don't. Yet our women's team has not yet won a gold medal. Our men have a number of scholarships available too. And if you think about how many the men must get if the women get 15,000, I'm pretty sure you're not right. And that is to say, you've got a whopping 121 scholarships available, and yet we've won 3 gold medals. So a big part of what is playing over the net and the youth volleyball programming for co-ed, boys volleyball, even in the 6-on-6 level, doesn't change net height until you hit 15 years old. So co-ed play is possible at the younger levels as well all the time. Leave this time together and think about the most important measurement, and that is, when were you a child's last coach? Did they give up on the sport after you coached them? And that's the way we like to measure things. John Wooden, being a fantastic teacher, taught us all that the most important part is to be consistent as a coach and a teacher of any sport. So we like that amazing teacher. This is a slide from a Brazilian presentation, and as you can see there, they list some of their greatest players, and as the slide speaks to, the first coach that they had was just simply the game, and in order to develop game intelligence and empowerment. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So To the addresses that wish to receive one in January, or possibly late December, they're coming in December from overseas, the gear. See that not only you're going to get a sport kit DVD, which we're going to show here, but also it comes in a bag, it comes with a rule book, it comes with a bumper sticker, it comes with a clipboard that talks about concussions, a static cling, a cool USAV net lanyard, and the biggest part about it, other than the sport kit DVD, is this net band that will allow you to do table tennis, badminton, volleyball at very low cost. It's like a wide ribbon that we'll be sending you free of charge, and you can adjust it to fit your YMCA. The kit itself, we'll show at the end of this, but it has the following sections: to program things for elementary, which is 2 to 3 person play; to do junior high, which is 14 and under, but it's 4-person volleyball; and then finally high school, where you start to play 6-on-6. There's a lot of other resources on beach volleyball, on para-volley, info for players, parents, getting more coaching, our high-performance program, all the cool posters and fun stuff that we've got, information about the regions, and the index. So the index looks like this, which shows more of the material on the Sport Kit DVD that you can play and download and show, including some very important things, the drill videos and the skill videos. And all these skill and drill videos that we see here are important from the point of view of being able to show rather than necessarily tell what's going on. And anytime you click any of these sections, that takes you to that actual page where a lot more material resides underneath it. And we'll show you that, as I said, at the end. So why is Brazil so good? What would make a YMCA be a great pipeline? Several things on this shot at Rio de Janeiro. One is they're playing doubles, not even triples. 2, the coaches are letting them play and not coaching them. 3, that they've got a lot of volleyballs. And 4, that the court size has been reduced to about 15 feet, around 4 meters. So think about that as we move forward, because it happens in the United States too. This is the Outrigger Canoe Club, a club of over 100 kids each year, 2 regular sand courts and a baby court, as you see. And that baby court is the reason that 9 Olympians have come from one single club, more than anybody else in the nation, times about a factor of 9 or 10. I mean, it's just remarkable what Ohana and play and having a baby court can do to grow any sport, but volleyball in specific on the beach, where you get a lot of reps, as you'll see in the next few slides. So the net, we said, is incredibly important. And here are kids, and this is one of the drills on the video, on the sport kit. Here the kids are playing queen of the court, and the loser, rather than has to step off the court, they become the next net. And they're just playing out in this street parking lot area next to a convention center, getting ready to get on. And they're just playing doubles and not even triples in order to get more reps. Here, where I grew up, Emerald Bay, they are spanning a ribbon and just playing triples, or triples it looks like, on the sand. The research shows that in Europe, in England, they actually did this. What separates the kids that get pro contracts from not, when they're in a soccer academy where they're all getting trained very seriously? And the answer was that the average kid that got a contract to play pro at the age of 16, they played 7 hours a week of street soccer, where they just played with no coach involvement, just had to solve problems in kind of not perfect situations. And the kids that didn't get a contract only averaged under an hour a week of doing that same game. So here you're seeing that in this variation, and this ability to do small court, no coach stuff is a big part of our long-term athletic development pipeline. So another example, Begin with the end in the mind, because the game will find a way. Here's a great example of the game finding a way in Brazil, where they're just playing in the street alley. To play with a balloon indoors in the house, or some of the super light balls that are in the mini volleyball book made by Molten called First Touch, that are 70 grams and remarkably durable, is another option. These kids, their net, knowing you got to have a net, is the containers, and I think that's a brilliant group. Couple of kids there, you know, they love volleyball and they just play with a balloon. So making the courts easy to set up is what this slide's about, and you can see in this one that these 4 nets on the rope is in the background at the regular height, and we've lowered it down to play youth tennis at the same time on the other half of the court. And this is a net system that you can buy from USA Volleyball at under $100, or you can make it out of 2 nets that are sitting in your closet, running a rope through the entire system so you can set it up across side basket to side basket rather than the single or double courts that are often used. So here you see tennis, and if you move the bottom of the net up a little bit, you could do sitting volleyball because your legs are allowed to go underneath the net in sitting volleyball. And there's a divider net, which we'll show in another slide that we use with deer netting. Keeping it simple and cheap. How do you get low-cost antennas when you have so many nets? Because antenna systems are $100. Yeah, there's your answer. Swim noodles. They're not perfectly straight, but kids don't care. And this is the version of the 4-net system going down the middle rather than side to side. This is a cafeteria at a junior high. That's why the tables are kind of tucked into the wall there that come out for food. When we go side to side, we could only put up 3 net systems, and you'll see that also. But swim noodles are part of the solution. And these are all from our video on how to set this up. Some of you have outdoor courts. Please go outdoors. Using the 2x4, I'm going to be doing this in a couple of days down at Fort Walton Beach. You can take a regular adult court and string up 4 of these small courts with a band with the sliders to show where their court is, and have 4 kids' courts up on a single sand court for adults. All you do is the 2x4, and then you spread the legs wider to lower the net as needed, and you just make that X back and forth. You'll see this idea used a lot around the world in clinics that I've done. For example, here in Vanuatu. Now we're getting dirt simple. Not only playing on dirt, even though that's their sand there, we're using the bamboo that I found just about 100 yards away from this field, lashed together to make the 2x4s version so you can change the net height. And I'm just using a rope because I couldn't carry much else. I prefer a ribbon, but a rope works, and 3 groups of kids play doubles here. What do you mean by ribbon, John? I'm talking 1.5 to 2 inch wide wired white ribbon, preferred white just to say the color of the top of the net. And this is at the U.S. Air Force Academy. 16 sitting volleyball courts set up in a sort of a foyer area after we did a speech on leadership. So all the guys and gals, all the air cadets, and Carrie Miller, the double amputee sang in their number 10 jersey, is a member of the 2-time silver medal winner with our Paralympic team doing part of the clinic. I set it up with chairs. If you look to the far left, you can see some chairs, and they simply have a 50-pound weight on them, and then that allowed us to put down the floor tape, which is the painter's tape, so that it didn't damage the floor. Again, very low cost. And we had put through 300 academy cadets to train on leadership by doing sitting volleyball. A ribbon, as you'll see, is a really great idea. Here's a regular sitting court, but going down the middle of the sitting court using the chairs is the ribbon, which allows the kids to play this 2-on-2, 1-on-1, 3-on-3 maximum game option, so they get a lot of reps. And so a ribbon is a good choice as well, we think. This is at the Olympic Training Center with one of the schools that came on campus. And when I say rope, this is simply a rope going down the middle, and it continues down to the other court. And the power of story is important, so I'm just going to let you know that this camp had never gotten more than one kid to sign up after a training week ever on average. And the week that we did this rope down the middle, and the kids got all this 3-on-3 and 4-on-4 and 2-on-2 opportunities just to play over the rope. The next week and the week after that full next week, and twice, he gained 11 new members at $1,000 a week to stay there and train, all because the kids got the attention and the reps that they needed. So just putting a rope down the middle of the court works. Here we are in, I'm in the Cook Islands, and you can see the net height. This is a statement we'd like to share with you as teachers. It's not how tall you are, it's how good you are. It's one of the articles on the Sport Kit DVD. But the next slide you're going to see shows how we vary the net height, even though we were using the one net on a rope system all the way down. So the kids could play outdoors and keep the net height, you know, obviously varied and everything. So pretty big success there. We had 200 elementary school kids playing. So when it all ends up, a little fuzzy picture, but this is one of the larger events in Finland where, because of this, you can, on a football field, you can have hundreds of kids playing the game, with the courts in this case being 6 meters by 6 meters, but small-sided courts. If you've never worked with the Chinese do some remarkable things. This is the National Chinese 9-man volleyball tournament. This is the team in Washington, D.C. that I helped coach. They play 9-on-9 on a 10-meter court, and they anchor the outdoor net systems just to the tires of a car and play on asphalt. So another way to set up a court. Here's the divider net where the USA Volleyball balls are hung on deer netting, which is tied to the 2 eye bolts on the side. It can be adjustable version or just the eye bolts for this divider net. Deer netting is 7 foot long or 7 foot high by 100 foot long, and it sells for $15. So if your Y doesn't have a divider net, or your school, simply put up the deer netting at a very, very low cost, and you can stop the balls from rolling as you play this case, 6 courts on the single facility. Again, we couldn't fit 4 across because of the size of the small gym. Outdoors in Hawaii, setting up the system with 4 on a rope and letting the kids play. When you play a game called speedball, which is similar to Queen of the Court but faster, you can put doubles on the 4 nets with 2 kids waiting out on each side and get 32 kids on a single adult volleyball court, getting a ton of reps and a ton of fun. I told you about the power of story. What is truer than truth? In this Jewish proverb, the answer is the story. And here we're at an FIVB development center teaching the coaches of 6 countries how to take sitting volleyball back without having to impact too much, because the width of a volleyball court, regular volleyball court, from the end line to the 3-meter line is the exact width of a regular sitting volleyball court. When you divide it down the middle, you're obviously 4.5 meters deep because of the width of a 9-meter court. Well, the regular court is 5 meters. We don't care about losing that half a meter. We just put 3 sitting courts. Right now there's just 2. We could have a middle one by taking the net down and getting the guys to gals to play sitting volleyball as well. And the Ys have a lot of racquetball courts, and they are perfect for youth volleyball and sitting volleyball. Here the Army, this is overseas in Germany, taking a court, and they're not even playing 6-on-6. If you notice, they're playing 4-on-4 by dividing the net down the middle with the blue line, but putting the anchors up so that you can have a court. Now, if you have a volleyball court, a volleyball net is perfect for sitting volleyball as well as for youth volleyball. So, yeah, we can take over the gym, but don't feel like you've got to take over the gym. Use the racquetball courts to start a youth volleyball program if you want, or go into the gym and just ask for half the court and string your net up sideways and put up the divider net and be training on 4 nets, but only using half the gym, letting basketball, soccer, and other sports see what you're doing in your youth program. A lot of nets have a gap between their regular net systems. This one in Barbados had a really big gap, and that's where we put the 4 nets on a rope in the middle. But even if you only have a 10-foot gap, put ribbon or cut a net or do something so that that gap can be another place to have kids volleyball. So use that net gap space. Wanted to pitch an idea that we think WISE could take advantage of, and that is on especially the way we've done it here in Colorado on Mother's and Father's Day, and the big one in Vail is on Father's Day. 100 fathers play doubles on full court with their sons or daughters. The background, you see a daughter playing in that division, and this is the 10 and under division. We do 18, 15, and 12 and under, and 10 and under. And this little kid's, got a 6'8" dad, and he'd like to think he may discover volleyball as an option. So think about not necessarily even on specifically Father's or Mother's Day, but some sort of parent child volleyball weekend or day, fun thing to do. The top 4-star general or whatever in Europe playing sitting volleyball, he trained earlier on the other side of that basketball standard. We had the Army 550 rope strung up, and they just played on that really thin rope until they were ready, and then he came and challenged his troops in sitting volleyball. Where do you get coaches when you've got 4 courts up or 8 courts up? My God, do I need, 10 coaches or whatever? Well, we like to say the game teaches the game. But at the same time, your USAV clubs, in exchange for using the court for their practice, would love to coach littler kids. When you take a regular court and you have a 2-hour practice and you string the ribbon or the 4 nets on a rope down the middle for an hour of those 2-hour practices and let the junior, and I mean 14, 13 kids and age kids, coach these 11-unders, you get some remarkable stuff to happen, and that which you teach, you learn. So since you learn by doing, get the kids to be the coaches with an adult supervising everything. Now, not in the handout per se, but I'm going to vocalize it. Your region probably will, every region has their own choice to follow this rule, but we have at USA Volleyball, 8 and under memberships in USA Volleyball, including insurance, is free of charge. That's right, free of charge. The 11 and under membership for a year averages around $12.50. The maximum price can be $15 for the entire time. And the coach, of course, has a full membership and needs to be background screened through USA Volleyball, but you can join a region with your youth volleyball program at very low cost as you keep it inside the YMCA, or work with the club to have some great deals. This is my son actually coaching the Wounded Warriors. And so here's an 18-year-old learning to be a better volleyball player by coaching older guys, including this special op guy, Michael Day, that his hands are covering up, a guy that won the Silver Star after taking 27 shots in a battle. Pretty amazing people to be coaching. Because we think supporting Wounded Warriors is a big deal. Monday morning at 6:30, I was courtside at the South Side YMCA over on Jet Wing, where we had on a pickleball court with a tape bringing the court up a little bit smaller, and put up a pickleball net, and the Army guys there were playing sitting volleyball. This is actually the Wounded Warrior games, and showing one of the Marines playing the game. They win the gold medal quite often. But if you want to start a program beyond just youth volleyball or with youth volleyball, let the adults play with their kids. And if they're really little kids, let them stand up and play and hit over this lower net. Just wanted to put a plug in to let you know about all the apps and things that are available out there. KeepVid allows you to keep the videos from YouTube onto your hard drive. Canovia is like a very, very expensive data analysis, but it's free. It's open source. On your iPad, Coach's Eye and UberSense allow you to just walk up, film a kid, and immediately show them what they were doing. So does Dartfish Express. It's called BAM Video Delay Mirror, but it's another app, and it's delays up to 2 minutes the time that you want it to show what's on the screen delayed, and we tape that to a chair and let the kids see themselves 10 seconds after they do it, and so as they do drills, they go over and look at themselves performing. And that's what this system here, where it says, TiVo units, if you put all this onto a cart, you can take your DVR and just like you do at home, delay it 5, 10, or 20 seconds, and then it shows what's happening real time on the court with this cart, or putting it up on the wall. So again, these are things beyond just volleyball, but that make it happen. And pocket radar is because being specific is really important, so we use radar guns to tell kids what's happening, and young kids love it just as much as older kids. The book is in Spanish and in English, and the Cool Volleyball book is in Spanish, English, and French. Cool Volley is all about 2-on-2 only. Our book does 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, and even some 6-on-6. It's on the CD, and it's downloadable free of charge. The volleyball coloring book is on the DVD, the Sport Kit DVD, and it has around 30 pages. You can go download it right now and print pages out for any YMCA program you might be doing. Most of what we do is shared in the Growing the Game blog, or Growing the Games Grassroots section. So the Grassroots section here has all this material, including the posters and the grants and all, just so much stuff to help you grow the game. We'll show some of these posters here in a sec. In fact, here's the first one. If you've got an athlete who is suffering from cancer or has had a very bad accident and they love volleyball, you can send us their photo. This is a picture of Sydney. And the athletes have given us permission to use their images, and we put together some quotes around it. And the major quote, of course, if nothing is impossible, the word itself says, I'm possible. And we'll send you back the JPEG so you can print it at your Y or club and let them see what we've done to help inspire that kid. And done free of charge. But there's a whole lot of posters. And Leslie helped put this together, this collage, and did practically all the top posters. The first one in the upper left and the one below are coach and player manifestos. There's a great ABC of volleyball poster, what to do after high school type posters, and the whole skill and drill posters. Every one of these is on the DVD, Sport Kit DVD, when you get it, but there's currently hiding on the USA Volleyball website if you want to download them now. We do them in 16 by 20 and 20 by 30 as well as 11 by 17 because if you weren't aware, Costco and Sam's will do a 16 by 20 picture, aka the poster, for $5.99, and they'll do a 20 by 30 version for $8.99. And so that's the last time I priced them, just in the last few weeks. They may have even gone down. That allows you to put these posters up in your gym, and when kids are not there for volleyball or they're seeing other things, they learn about the volleyball. These two posters of coach and player are so universal that I think it's one of the coolest things I did with my intern here, Leslie. She put the cloud idea together off of the words that matter to coaching and playing and being a good athlete. We sent it out to every NGB, and 9 of them sent back, would you please send us the master and let us change it to hockey or change it to swimming? And we said yes. And Dara, I don't know if you've been able to get on yet, but we can clearly, she had a problem getting on because of an emergency at the National Y situation for her. But we could send this master and you could turn it into a YMCA version as well. Hockey made 20,000 to put up in every rink, and swimming is planning on putting them up in every pool. They're really good stuff for kids to think about, and those are our poster series. So they look like this in skill sets for beach, indoor, and para, men or women, in all series for every skill set, from attacking to setting and spiking and blocking. And then there's a specific para-volley or sitting volleyball poster, which is available, again, free of charge download. The 4 years of blogs have been put into 2 books, a player parent edition and a coach club director edition. And feel free to download those books. They too are on the Sport Kit DVD. So you can reach me at john.kessel@usav.org. I'm going to close this part out and show you the Sport Kit itself. So there's the Sport Kit, and we're going to click into it. This is the actual Sport Kit in real time. And there's the opening page, and as you can see, as you highlight over the areas, it lets you click through to that area. And if we go, because we're doing youth volleyball, to this area, you can click and get the Spanish book, or every one of these balls allows you to get to the link or to the information. And so if we click here, for example, it'll open up as a PDF on the DVD, the coloring book as a book, so that you can print up any of the pages that you might like as a coloring book for the kids, or as a handout for that day of youth volleyball to have a contest to see who could draw the best animal or whatever. Oops. Somehow I've closed out my, I missed the, I don't need that anyway, but get down here, hang on. There we go. So the posters, if you click here, it gets to the link. Here's this cool volleyball. The lesson plans we're putting up online is a shared collaborative project. There's a simplified rule page book here. If we went to the volleyball technique videos, GoToMeeting doesn't let video play in real time, but all of these are skill videos for the sport itself specific to that action. You can then click the back button and it'll take you back to the Sport Kit. We've got a whole lot of stuff on athlete safeguards as well. Anything that's underlined is actually needs to be connected to the internet to get to, or else you can click here and download our Safe Sport handout or our concussion poster, for example, that we do together. And that is a large poster about signs and symptoms of a concussion, so that's available for you to use. Back to the elementary school programming or the junior high options. If we click here, we get more material. The kids court manual, how to do a one-time successful kids clinic, if that's what you're looking at. One of the posters is in 9 parts as well as in single parts. Some other fun things to hand out, and how to make a balloon volleyball, so that I'll click on this. This is how to make a volleyball using a balloon that lets you give every kid a volleyball to take home. Just you have to have someone that can sew. And Side Out Sports made something like 8,000 of them in the color of pink and gave them away as for donations, so the kids could have awareness to cancer, breast cancer, at their point in time in volleyball. Here's a great handout for youth volleyball. Highlights Magazine gave us the opportunity to print this and let you find find all the symbols in here as they play volleyball, that whole hidden picture game that a lot of young kids love to do. So you can get to the junior high page and you see some other programming ideas and articles, and we've got a lot of humor as well. It's just, this is a DVD that comes in the sport kit that we'll be sending to all the addresses when you give us your address after we send out the email about the material that we're doing. I don't know. Let's see. Anything else you want to add to this? I think this core coaching resources area has some really important articles that have been translated both into Spanish and English. So you can click the English one here, but if you want to view the game, teaches the game in Spanish, some of my friends in Spain have said we need to share this with our country, so they've translated it. And finally, some other key stuff, including the section to do the skill posters. And this is another pretty important handout. Kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. So if you've got a good program, you let the kids fill this out, which is a front-back page form, and you find out what their favorite number is, things they don't like about themselves, and their favorite color in food, and who they admire. You become a better coach of that athlete because you are able to know about them, and it comes in a front and back form here. So again, beach volleyball, a whole section, paravolley. You click here and you get all the stuff and the drills, skill and drills specifically to the paravolley world and the things that they do. And remarkably similar as we go through the whole thing. Whole section for player, including some humorous stuff and fun. Let's take a look at some of the fun stuff. A quiz, a knowledge quiz, volleyball crossword puzzles, volleyball scrambles, volleyball word find, things like that, and then a specific humor page, the handy excuse list. So why don't we click on that to show you what we mean there. This is a checklist of excuses so that you can just check off your excuse. And there are a lot of the handouts or discussion items, about leadership and things like this. Why do we make excuses? Look at all the excuses people use. Really good people don't make excuses as athletes. So that's why we have so much more to help you do things beyond this. I think we're closing in on around 45 minutes. I know we've got some questions coming in here. Let's see if we can find any other questions or chat. If you got any questions, you can put them in the chat box. You should see that. I don't know if we've got any questions here. Audio's going in and out. Okay, so Joel, and we're just going to bring these to life. Let's see here. How do I get that out in the pane? There it is. So Joel asks, we'd love to have a one-on-one with you about doing in the area. Okay, happy to do that. How do we get the sport kit, Suzanne? We're going to email everybody that has attended this session. We're going to email you an article on how to set up youth volleyball, a couple of really core ones, including the net system changing and everything. From that, if you want the sport kit, you email us back the address you want us to send it to, and we will then, when the sport kit is ready in December or early January, mail you the whole kit free of charge. So good question. What is the youngest age to start instructional volleyball? Man, I'd say around 4 to 5 if you use the super light or even a balloon. When you're young, at the 2 to 5-year-old age, keeping the balloon off the floor over a string is a blast, and they'll play it for a long time, especially with their parents or adults or or siblings. And so like that one group that was playing in the basement, a balloon competition means you can start quite young. The light ball that's 70 grams and 140 grams, 5-year-olds, and the balloon ball, 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds have no problem playing with. I've got a 4-year-old that can serve a light ball, not the super light, but the 12 and under ball, full court end line, using the torque serve. Well, the torque serve is shown on this DVD to let you see how to do this torque serves for little kids. And I, yeah, oh gosh, the court should be smaller for little kids, but this 4-year-old's got all older brothers and sisters, and so she plays full court volleyball with them, and she's 4, so it's just a matter of having fun and letting the game be their first coach more so. What do you think we can do to impact boys volleyball on the East Coast, especially NYC and Massachusetts? Joel Sanchez, thanks. We're going to have a concerted effort. We're going to be coming back to do some stuff in the New York City area with the collegiate men's programs that are back there. So email me directly, and I'll put you in the loop with the guys that are doing that stuff. Again, to everybody that's listening, this youth volleyball is co-ed. It shouldn't be put out to say girls youth volleyball. It should simply say girls volleyball, and boys can play. The regions allow 14 and under boys, even as an entire team of boys, to play against the girls on the regular height net for girls, which is the same height, 7'4" ¼ for boys, playing 6-on-6. The youth volleyball net heights get even lower, and the net height is totally up to you. You just set the standard for your Y, and if the kids are pretty short, for whatever reasons in your area, putting it down lower and teaching hitting first when you go to a clinic is a big part of it. We did a clinic with 15 kids with Carrie Walsh last Tuesday. The gold medalist came in and did a great thing for a bunch of kids here in town, and then gave a speech to the Peak Vista group, one of the hospital groups. She did some dynamic warming up, then we played some one-on-one warm-up games over the net, and then we finished with spiking, and then we did a serving contest. I'm going to tell you a true story. When we were at Manhattan Beach, the junior lifeguards, 60 of them came one morning to play volleyball with the AVP pros teaching them. And the pros made them warm up and do stretching and do some conditioning in the sand, and then taught them forearm passing, because it's the most important skill, and then said, come back tomorrow. About 20 kids came back. I said, can I do the next one in Hermosa Beach? They said, yeah. The 60 junior lifeguards of Hermosa Beach showed up. We warmed up playing one-on-one over the nets and the ropes and had fun over the string that we were just holding up as coaches. They spiked, they skyball served, and they played. How many kids came back the next day of the 60? And the answer is 120. They brought their friends, and we had a great opportunity. Same thing can happen when you teach hitting first and make it fun. It's, this stuff about low cost is, just about everything. Brandon asks, is everything on the Sport Kit on the website currently? Just about everything except the drills and skill videos are kind of being brought out over the course of between now and Christmas. There's only like 3 or 4 of them. So the only way to get the drills and skill videos right now is on the Sport Kit itself. But they are going up over the time of Christmas, and my blog is going to show some of the links to it. They're putting up 2 tomorrow. Today? What are the skills?
Setting and slide jumper, and overhead serve and forearm passing.
So overhead serve and forearm passing are going to be added to today's skill set that you can see online. And they'll be posted under Grassroots and video.
No.
Grassroots, and then, yeah, we have a separate USA skill video section under Grassroots and a separate USA drill video. So if you start looking there, you'll see the new ones as they come out. So thanks for that question. To confirm, everyone attending this webinar will see the sport kit in January. Yes. Well, only if you send us your address back after we email you. So everybody whose email addresses I have now, because you checked in, I'm sending an email out in the next day saying thanks for coming, and here's a couple other ideas, core ideas, and if you want the sport kit, please mail me back with your address. And when you do that, I'll give it to Patty, and Patty will send you one in no later than January, possibly late December. All right. Any other questions or thoughts? I don't want to keep you guys away from the most important stuff, which is doing kids stuff in the Ys and with your regions. We appreciate every question, and we appreciate what you're doing. Let's see, somebody's got here, as an RVA, we want to partner with the local chapters to do new volleyball facilities. Does amping up volleyball YMCA things to help? See, here's how we see it here, and we know great clubs have done this. A lot of clubs, YMCA peeps, don't have facilities, and they're willing to put a membership for the kid and their coaches into their club package if they can use the YMCA racquetball court, auxiliary gym as a training site for their kids, and they're also willing to do this youth volleyball so that their club kids, as part of their practice once every 2 weeks, this is the way we did it here. A 13-under team, my daughters, trained every other Tuesday from 6 to 7 little kids, and then used the court for the remaining hour for her practice. The next Tuesday, she got that court for her 2 hours, while the 14-unders coached the little kids, and we had 32 kids on that court, because of the way we set up the system, for an hour, and then they practiced for their second hour. So every week, the little kids came in and practiced like most Y programs for an hour, with the coaches being the USAV club kids, and just supervision from the club and the Y. Then on Saturday, they had a play day, and they did it at different Ys, and again, my daughter came in for practice and then did play day with the kids. Sometimes they played with the kids, sometimes they coached the kids. And I will throw one last idea out here for those of you that are still on. That is the idea of Maxi-scoring. It's a page in the mini volleyball book. It's designed to get volleyball to happen. And what it's about is Canada has taken the idea, and they're doing a mandatory 13-unders scoring their 6-on-6 even this way with what they call triple ball. But Maxi-scoring or triple ball is a kid serves, and then a ball after that ball is aired, aced, or played and hits the floor. A second ball gets thrown into Team A, and they play that out against Team B. And then a third ball is thrown into Team B, and they play that out. And by that time, with 3 balls, including the serve, somebody has gotten 2 out of 3, possibly all 3. Whoever gets the 2 out of 3 gets a point. And they play 1 game to 25, and it takes around 25 minutes. But when you play kids volleyball this way, you actually get volleyball happening, because your games and your drills that you're playing should be faceted as well. So hopefully that helps. All right, good stuff from everybody else. Hopefully that helps everybody understand how to use the sport kit in the regions. And as you see, if we went like this on the sport kit and we clicked it, it takes you right to the regional map and lets you get in touch with your regions by clicking specifically on the area that your Y is located in. So that's how easy the sport kit will be to get you to your regions. Every page has that region click, or this page to take you to USA Volleyball. Enough said. We've been on for almost an hour. Get back to doing great things. Thanks from USA Volleyball for all you do in the sport development department. email any great ideas or lesson plan ideas, and let's work to grow the game together. Have a great Thanksgiving, and thanks for growing the game with us. Bye all.